The game starts now. How do you dive into the heart of sports action? With Betano. With Betano, you can bet on all your favorite sports: football, hockey, soccer, basketball, and more. Follow the action live and bet in real time. Whether it's a big game or the match of the season, stay connected to the excitement and make every game count. Looking for a thrilling sports experience? Sign up at betano.ca. Ontario residents only. Must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly.
From lively cultural celebrations and festivals to fun in the sun, life here is full of energy. Wide open fields meet breathtaking mountain views in nature's playground. And when the sun goes down, concerts under the stars light up the night. You'll build a great career here, but you'll live a truly great life. Visit worknwalberta.ca/Alberta called.
All right, well, I mean, I wish I had some words that are going to make this drive home or this walk home feel a little better for you, but, it's, I mean, of course it hurts right now. It's supposed to hurt. Even those of us who's thinking that just getting here was a big accomplishment, and I put myself in that category. Even those of us who said, hey, you know what, this is gravy, all of that stuff. I mean, even we have to acknowledge it. This hurts, That was before the Jays led this series 3-2. I mean, that was before Bo gave us that moment tonight and, that shot off Ohtani. And all of a sudden, I think the stuff that some of us thought was once impossible seemed possible. And I have to tell you the truth, maybe even a little probable. I started counting outs at that point, and suddenly that ending to Game 6 was forgotten. This was going to be a first World Series for Canada since 1993. I mean, I admit it just felt close, even though at that time the Blue Jays still needed 18 outs. And then Miguel Rojas did that, and Miguel Rojas made that throw, and Andy Paez caught that ball, and Will Smith hit that home run. And, I mean, my goodness gracious, all those men left on base tonight by the Blue Jays. But, Kevin, I mean, it wasn't meant to be, and so we fall back on what we have learned, right? What we've learned. Vladdy is a winner. Vladdy can deliver in the big moments. Trey Savage can step up. Trey Savage is an important part of this team. Addison Barger had a big series. Ownership is committed to payroll, and, that should create an environment for sustainable excellence. I mean, there's a culture here that has grabbed the attention of the baseball world. There will be free agent signings and trades, but I know. We know. I know Kevin knows there's no sport that makes getting to the playoffs tougher. There's no sport that promises fewer things to great players or to you, baseball's best fans. And Kevin Barker, the LA Dodgers are World Series champions. We have a lot to talk to you folks about. I'm sure you have a lot to say. You can vent, you can cheer, you can cry. The numbers, as always, 416-870-0590, star 590, 1-888-666-0590, 590-590 is the text line. Kevin, before we deal with all of that, I do feel we need to at least acknowledge that what we saw tonight from Yoshinobu Yamamoto was an uncommonly great performance. There is no other pitcher in baseball, none, who would throw 96 pitches last night, come out and pitch the final, 3 innings, 2 innings, 3 innings of the deciding game of the World Series. There's nobody in baseball that does that.
Yeah, I give him credit. I mean, everything he did, basically turned to gold. Yeah, it's sort of impossible to tell the difference between all of his pitches. And, yeah, I'm with you, 96, and then come out tonight the way he did. It's sort of that, when you see him running out of the pen, it's like, everybody's dreading it. And, you can sort of, hear the crowd when he's running out of the pen kind of sort of, oh, here he comes again. It's that kind of feeling. And they had their chances, Jeff. I mean, it was chance after chance. You mentioned it, right? 3 for 17 with runners in scoring position. They had 32 at-bats with runners on base. I mean, that's a ton. They were averaging a little over 15 in the regular season a game. So they had chance after chance. There's a couple of hanging sliders. It's just going to have you, having a real tough time sleeping at night. The Hoffman hanging slider to the 9-hole hitter, and obviously Will Smith's, 2-0 slider from Bieber that most of the time when you throw those two guys, even though they're hitting at the bottom of the order, Will Smith's obviously, hitting sort of where big-time hitters are supposed to hit. It's going to be a tough one, Jeff. They had them. They really did have them.
They had them. That's they had opportunities. They did what you're supposed to do, and at the end of the day, that we talk about the Blue Jays, how they don't strike out, how they make contact. They weren't able to get that big hit tonight. Didn't help that, a couple of their players are compromised. I'm not saying that as an excuse, but Bo Bichette is still in that game if he's 100%. We'll find out about George Springer at some point. But all of that, listen, the Dodgers did what they had to do to win. And again, I just cannot say enough about Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
We'll never probably see it again.
Well, unless the Dodgers are back next year.
Yeah.
The Dodgers are on the field. The World Series trophy is being presented. Kind of an interesting scene here. There were a lot of Blue Jays players that hung around for a good 10 minutes or so after the game. There are a lot of fans here as well. There are a lot of people crying. But there are thousands of people here in the 500 level and right below us and right beside us. And, they're just taking this in, man. And I think they're looking at that stage thinking,
should have been us.
God damn, that was close.
Absolutely.
I can't put it any other way.
I mean, they had them right.
But I mean, that was close.
Absolutely. Hoffman finishes that slider just a little bit more. You're seeing the Blue Jays on that stage. I mean, that's just reality. You give credit sort of where credit's due, right? He made one bad pitch, and the Dodgers made him pay for it. That's sort of the Dodgers, right? I mean, they had them on the ropes this entire series. Like, they were, for me, they were the better team. Other than Yamamoto, they sort of took everything, every jab, every punch, every haymaker that the Dodgers were sort of trying to give the Blue Jays. It just so happens, when push comes to shove.
Yeah, I mean, the Blue Jays had the bases loaded in the ninth inning. Ernie Clement hits that fly ball that we all thought. I mean, like my heart skipped 1,000 beats. I thought that ball was out of here, and then when I realized it wasn't, and I saw Kike Hernandez kind of giving it the old, oh my God, where the hell is this? And Andy Paez getting closer and closer to him. And I'm thinking this would be a typical Blue Jays win. Two outfielders colliding. The Rogers Center magic and all, it wasn't meant to be.
And John moving around a couple of guys in the order, right? Moving Barger up in the 5-hole, putting Varsho in the 7-hole, and it still, sort of came to Varsho's at bat, right? I mean, he'd been having trouble with the off speed and the breaking ball this entire series, and being good pitching staff that the Dodgers are, they went after his weakness, and it was out and around. It was out and around. Just wasn't able to make an adjustment, and those big time at bats that, with bases loaded and less than 2 outs, sometimes if you don't get it done, the other team makes you pay for it, and that's exactly what happened. It's a downer, Jeff. I got to be honest with you. We were walking around here all excited and just watching the Jays, and when they got the lead, when Bo hit that 3-run homer, man, people were going crazy.
Yeah,
and then,
I was walking around. There were. People were beside themselves.
Trey was running out of the bullpen. People were going nuts. And then the Dodgers started chipping away, right? The Max Muncy solo homer off Trey's knocked him out of the game. And, then it was the 9-hole hitter that sort of shook everything up.
We should mention, by the way, no surprise, Yoshinobu Yamamoto being named World Series Most Valuable Player.
I mean, it's the only reason they won the World Series.
It is the only reason.
The only reason.
Yeah. But, congratulations to the Dodgers, man. They're it is not easy to repeat in this game. I mean, we spent so much time this year talking to players, great players, and never had a chance to win the World Series. Yeah, I know the Dodgers have a big payroll. The Jays have a big payroll too, but it's just that. I mean, all of that. I realize that's not going to make anybody feel any better tonight. There are still a lot of people hanging around, and as I said, this. I guess it's a good thing when people don't want to leave. I guess it means that you gave them some entertainment, gave them some excitement. Certainly this whole country rallied behind the Jays. And
now a lot of those are Dodgers fans. Their fan base travels very well. You can see a lot of
there's a lot of well, you can tell the Dodgers fans, they're standing.
Yeah.
You can see the Jays fans, they're sitting.
Taking it all in.
And it's bitter. But
stinks,
but as Ben Shulman made this point, and I think it's not going to make you feel any better, but I didn't think we'd be here.
Yeah, that doesn't.
I didn't think
we'd
we'd be
better.
Russ in New Jersey, you're on Blue Jays Talk. Hey, Russ, by the way, Valentino says hi.
Okay, he was sitting. That's very nice. Thank you. I was at Game 5, and I had a family emergency, and I had to come Friday to be there for tonight's game, and I just couldn't do it. And,
I hope is the family emergency. Are things okay or?
Yeah, but I just for me to miss a game like this when I've been a fan since Rick Bassetti and Doug Alt and Paul Mirabella, it's tough, but it's there's nothing to say. The great year that we had, 100%. No, I never thought there'd be anywhere near this. But that's for tomorrow. That's for Tuesday. That's for Monday or Tuesday. It's just such a raw feeling because at the end of the day, you ask somebody in a year from now, as much as it was a great series, all the Dodgers repeated. Who they beat? Some guys will remember the Blue Jays because it was such a great series. But it's tough to take because it was right there. And I'm not going to blame Hoffman. He's been pitching great. Somebody keeps call up, and you know what? They got beat. It's very hard to take because, like you guys said, we were the much better. They couldn't hit a ball at the bottom of their lineup. Every time TK Hernandez came up, I know he had a home run in Game 5 when I was there. It was a joke. Their guys, they couldn't. They were getting 6 hits a game, and half of them were Ohtani. A couple games, Teoscar. We were the better team. We should have won. It's tough to take. Monday, Tuesday, I'm Blair and Barkley. You guys can talk how great the season was because it was unbelievable. It was, I remember when the ball rolled under the wall in Cincinnati. So again, they lost on Labor Day 5-4, and you guys said there's certain mojo about the Jays. You just thought, when it rolled under the wall, okay, we're going to win this game. There were certain things. I even when the Vladdy hits that pitch inside, whacks a double down the line. I said, we're definitely tying this game. I definitely, listen, I would have put my house we're going to win tonight because I just thought we were the better team, not because I'm a Blue Jays fan. And it's a raw feeling. In a couple of days, you'll be able to look back and say, wow. But tonight, I maybe disagree with Pete. I don't think tonight's the night to do that. I think tonight's the night to be a little bit down because we're not World Series champions. So I appreciate you guys taking my call the whole year. One time I got to come into the studio to meet you.
Absolutely.
To meet you guys.
We'd love to have you.
Okay, I'll come in. And it's tough. It's going to be tough to fall asleep tonight. But you know what? Well, let's get ready for 26. But it was a great year. I just don't think tonight's the night to reflect on how great the year is. Tonight is like a little bit of an empty feeling that we were that close. Some guys, Rojas, who probably hasn't hit a homer in 2 years, whacked a home run and went out in the ninth. So it is what it is, and that's sports. It's a tough feeling when you don't end up on top, and it was a great, great series. Thank you very much for the whole year.
Thanks, Russ. Be well. We hope your family emergency situation turns out okay for you, and we do appreciate your contributions throughout the season. 416-870-0590, star 590, 1-888-666-0590. The text line is always open. 590 is the text line. The Los Angeles Dodgers are your 2025 World Series champions. They have beaten the Toronto Blue Jays 5-4 in Game 7 at the Rogers Center. The Dodgers still milling around in the field, slowly going into their clubhouse for the obligatory champagne celebration. Their families are still out in the field. The stage is out there. There's some confetti there, and of course on the Blue Jays side, not a lot going on right now. I imagine we'll hear from John Schneider in a few minutes. I'm sure he'll want to take some time to talk to his team. Bo Bichette gave us a moment tonight, and I was sitting there. He hits that 3-run home run, and all I was thinking about, Kevin, was Bo Bichette playing hurt, and Bo Bichette possibly in his last game as a Blue Jay. And he's actually one of the first players I thought of when they showed the shot of the Blue Jay dugout. Just wondering what was going through his head.
Yeah, I mean, he made a little minor adjustment, right? We talked about that on the pregame show, and he took some bigger hacks last night trying to force results. And, knowing Bo the way I do and talking to the people on the field today, that's the adjustment, sort of Bo from day to day tries to make. And you saw that. He got a slider middle of the way, which was a good pitcher's pitch. And because he was sort of simple and not over swinging, could get to that nice little big finish that he normally has. And, because he has power, he can lead to all parts of the field. Yeah, it was a big-time hit. I was thinking they got the lead going into the 7th inning. I was with you. I'm counting outs, man. You got 9 outs. How you going to get them? How many is Trey getting? Who you going to after that? So, it's just it's a shame sort of it ended the way it ended, right? With, even after Hoffman gave up the homer, he got Ohtani out. Like, it's just, it's sort of like it felt like, man alive.
But, we talked about, you made this point often during this series, before the series. If the Jays had an issue this year, it was keeping the ball in the yard. And, one of the issues, Jeff Hoffman's been awfully good in the postseason.
He has.
Certainly been better than he was for most of the regular season. But, the long ball has been the bane of his existence this year. And, tonight it came back to bite them again.
Yeah, commanding all 3 pitches in an at-bat sometimes is, not the easiest thing to do. Heart rate's going up. You're trying to control that and stay mechanically sound, which he had fixed some things mechanically, which has allowed him to be a little bit better with location. Split finger's been on the edges, and the slider when he wants to, he can backdoor it, he can back foot it, he can go down and away to a righty. The fastball has the extra little tick because of the mechanical fix that he's made. Like, just, it's a shame, man. He had him set up, Rojas, with the slider. If he executes it, finishes it, he's out. They're probably hoisting the trophy. It just so happens he came out a half a second early, and it was a little floppy, and I could have hit that hard. Like, that's
by the way, further to Russ's point, the Dodgers' .203 batting average in the 2025 World Series is the lowest by the winning team since the 1966 Orioles at 200. So,
yeah, they're not supposed to win this with just how their offense looked. And, basically half their lineup didn't show up.
Yep. Yeah. Shlomo and Scarborough, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Boys, this was the craziest run ever. The most beautiful energy in the city. I can't tell you how many people, I felt like baseball coming into this for me and my community of people that I know, I was one of the only diehard Jays fans, and to see all the people that just fell in love with this team, it just blows me away. People from all walks of life that I encounter in everyday life that had no interest in the Jays before the middle of the playoff run, just becoming diehards, sweating and dying with every pitch. And I think this is probably one of the most memorable weeks, exhilarating weeks, but just months of my life as a sports fan ever. I'm extremely grateful to this team for that. And, baseball is a metaphor for life. And we learned so much about this team, and we weren't the best team. We were the best team, but things just didn't go our way at the very end, from yesterday and today. And listen, there's going to be people that, we're not going to be able to stomach to see next year on the roster. And it's not fair to them, but Brendan Little and IKF, they can't come back. Not because it's it's too soon, but I'm hoping we can bring back Bo. I love seeing him really. I felt like seeing Bo in the World Series and hearing him and seeing him talk a little bit more, I felt like he became more honest than ever before. Like, we learned so much about players. Like, even Vlad, even this season since he signed his extension and not talking through the translator as much and just connecting more with the fans and just seeing him on first base, telling his teammates to breathe and just hearing about how he was the leader that was telling everybody, if you're scared, just look at me, I got you. Like, man, what a beautiful story.
Yeah.
Like, you don't hear about these things. The humanization of this team is incredible. Like, we're thinking about that story we heard on air from Dan about Ernie putting his arm around Hazel. Like, that's crazy. Like, we fell in love with the humans of this team, and you don't get that from other Toronto sports teams. You don't get that from any sports teams, you know? And all the records that were set by this team in this run, it's like we didn't win the World Series, but no one's ever going to forget this team. They're in infamy right now. Everything happens for a reason. I mean, I don't even know where we go from here. I don't know how Ed Rogers is feeling. You know, I'm sure it's a success financially because they just made baseball fans for life. There's people I know with young kids now that are just so in love. Seeing people downtown yesterday walking around, all the kids dressed up as baseball players with bats. Like, this is the most impactful sports probably run of the last 30 years in this country. I think it's more impactful than what we saw with the Raptors, just because, I don't know, not to hate on basketball, but baseball is more poetic, and baseball just feels more like a metaphor for life, and basketball just doesn't feel human, you know? It just feels more flashy. So I think there's a lot of things that we can love about this season and a lot of things we can appreciate. And, yeah, shout-outs to you guys at Sportsnet. Everybody did a great job. Very impressed, especially with Ben Schulman and Chris. They really killed it, man. I have a friend in California, Jamie. He works in sports, and he listens to the radio broadcast nonstop. And I know a lot of people like that. Like, and listen, TV does great too, but we were very lucky to be watching our own people, Dan and Buck, and then have Ben and Chris calling it. Like, we're spoiled up here, guys. Sportsnet, you guys did a great job, like above and beyond. Thank you, Rogers. Not to sound like I'm sucking up to these guys, but honestly, amazing job. Not going to those commercial breaks, letting it keep going. They did so much for the fans. All the money invested in the team, from spring training facility to how much they spent on this. I have friends that are fans of Detroit and other teams. To see them pony up that money and invest, man, we got to be grateful. This is one of the best things we have going for us as sports fans in Toronto. And thank you, Rogers, honestly.
Shlomo, I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. And you're right about, you know, the people at Sportsnet, the investment that TV and radio made in this World Series run. And, you know, Shlomo's right, and this is not to take anything away from any other Canadian team, but in terms of single professional sports teams, there is no team in the country that has the reach that the Blue Jays do. There's no NHL team that is universally loved across the country because, you know, as I always say, I grew up in Winnipeg. I'm never cheering for the Oilers. I don't give a rat's ass who they're playing, and I'm sure as hell never cheering for the Vancouver Canucks. You know, the Raptors, Shlomo's right. There are parts of this country where that doesn't resonate, but, you know, there's a lot of baseball played in this country. There's a ton of baseball played in rural Canada, and just, you know, doing this show, Kevin, the calls we get from across the country and the texts we get from across the country, and just the, you know, just the anecdotal evidence you get. Yeah, I think Shlomo's right. You know, 2015 brought some fans back here, kind of excited the fan base again. This year did the same thing. Again, I know it doesn't feel good right now, but, you know, as I said, you've got ownership that's committed to bringing a World Series here. They did bring the World Series to Toronto. What was it Edward Rogers said? Somebody asked him at the Vladdy news conference, what would you consider a good return on investment in this? And he said, bringing a World Series to Toronto. Well, you had a World Series in Toronto. You didn't win it. You know, that's the next step. And I think you probably feel a little better about that possibility happening now than you did at any other point in the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, I think the organization, too, has a blueprint on how to do this, like how to, you know, make a run, you know, be the hunted instead of the hunter all the time. And, once they do get in the playoffs, how do you sort of figure out ways to move forward and, beat teams that you quite frankly should be beating? And, I think that's the cool part of it. This team is very easy to cover because they're relatable, they're fun. They got a little something for everybody, right? You like small ball, they can do it. You like base running, they can do it. You like good defense, they can do it. You like pitching, there's a little something for every fan to sort of hone in on that just likes the game of baseball and can pay attention to their favorite player. And they do have a face of the franchise forever in Vladdy. Vladdy, for me, is taking a step forward.
Taking a huge step forward.
Absolutely. Now it's just, that picture of him, getting that leadoff double and the way he acted when he towards his dugout, standing at second. I mean, it's sort of just a tribute to sort of where he started this year and where he's ended up.
Yeah, listen, there have a lot. Ernie Clement has had a historically good postseason. Nobody's had more hits in the postseason than Ernie Clement. We talk about Trey Yesavage. I'm excited to see what Trey Yesavage does next year. Trey Yesavage coming out of the bullpen tonight. There are going to be changes. There's some guys who are going to be leaving. Probably Max Scherzer. I don't know about Shane Bieber. There's an option there.
Chris
Bassett.
Bo
Bichette. The big guy. The biggest free agent. The biggest Blue Jays free agent. Does he come back? Do they make him we'll have we'll have a lot of time to figure that out down the road. But that's. If you need something to hang your hat on tonight, it's the guy who's signed that 14-year extension. He posted. He posts. We keep telling people one thing about Vladdy. He plays every day in the regular season. Well, not only did he post in the postseason, but he tried to carry his team to the World Series.
He did.
He came within a couple of innings of getting it done.
Absolutely. I mean, I think they found the right guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really, really well put. Chris in Etobicoke, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Hi, Jeff. Hi, Kevin. How are you guys doing today?
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet. Listen, I admit I got a little carried. I started counting outs as soon as Bo hit the ball. I just thought, that's it. I'm counting outs, and probably not the right thing to do, but what the hell? I've never covered a team that's gone to Game 7 of the World Series, so I learned.
Oh, I definitely agree. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure hearing you both. I've been more of a listener. I don't really call because I love hearing you guys spiel, banter at each other. It's just so edutaining. But today, we have to just reflect on all the good because, like you said, Kevin, Jeff, we weren't supposed to be here. Mm-hmm. At the beginning of the season...
I think we may have dropped Chris. Okay, we dropped Chris.
Call back,
Chris.
We'll get you back
We'll
on.
be here for a while. Call back. Eddie in Fort Erie. What's up, Eddie?
Hey, Eddie.
How's it going?
Hey, Eddie. What's up, man?
Not much. Just like you guys, I'm disappointed too. But you know what? It was still a great year, and it was one of the best that I've ever watched. This is my 30th year watching baseball. And a good friend of mine just celebrated his 10th year watching baseball, so he's learning the game, and I'm helping him along, the ins and outs of it. And it was a great year. And you know what, guys? Everywhere I went in the Niagara region, no matter where I went, I saw everybody wearing Blue Jays stuff, and they noticed me wearing stuff, and they gave me a go Jays go, and I gave it right back to them, and I said the same thing, and it was one of the best seasons I ever had. I know we didn't win the World Series, but you know what? We can build off from this, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the off season. Because it hurts now, but you know what? It's going to get better now. Watching Yoshinobu Yamamoto pitch tonight, he definitely in the entire World Series, he definitely deserved to win the World Series MVP because the way that I saw him pitch, it was like watching Randy Johnson and Madison Baumgartner all rolled into one with him. And you know what? All three of them have right now that they won, gentlemen, a World Series MVP. Yep. I know Johnson won his with Schilling, but he still won it. But that was one of the best pitching performances I ever seen in the World Series and throughout the postseason. So I got to give it to him. So I just wanted to say, to you guys, I watched your show, And I obviously called into Blue Jays Talk, whether I was talking to both of you or Show or anybody like that. I really enjoyed, telling you guys what I thought, what was happening with the games and everything like that. And I can't wait to call back and talk about what went right, what went wrong, and everything like that. So I look forward to next year, and Jeff, this is for you especially. I am especially looking forward to the World Baseball Classic because you remember when I first talked about it and years ago, and now it's coming up again. So I'm excited for this 2026 season.
Yeah, listen, Eddie, I appreciate the call. We always appreciate your calls and your loyalty. And, we do have the World Baseball Classic coming up. And, I mean, God, the Nailers are basically going to field an entire team on their own, I think, in the World Baseball Classic. But, yeah, it's 2026 season. I think I'll tell you what, I think we're going to be surprised how quickly spring training rolls around and how quickly 2026 rolls around. Again, I know it hurts tonight, but, it's, the entire baseball world saw the Blue Jays on the biggest stage, saw the city on the biggest stage, saw the stadium on the biggest stage, saw Vladdy on the biggest stage. And, if it means anything, just from, talking to a lot of the national writers that are here and a lot of the broadcasters that are here, this is Toronto's a baseball city, man. Toronto is a serious baseball city, and, it'll be interesting to see. I don't necessarily think that going to World Series makes free agents more likely to sign with you. It's going to come down to money and term, but I think they may take your phone call a little faster, or their agents may take your phone call a little faster. But yeah, that's I'll tell you what, that's really all I have right now for you. By the way, John Schneider, talking to Ken Rosenthal, said he just held his first team meeting of the year. Huh. That was a few minutes ago, and that was to just simply thank his players. And again, we'll hear from John Schneider in a few minutes. And once we get that tape, we'll turn it around for you. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to step away. We'll come back with more of your calls, 416-870-0590, star 590, 1-888-666-0590. The text line is 590-590. This is Blue Jays Talk on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
All Kinds Doors. At All Kind Door Services, from commercial overhead doors to pedestrian entry systems, if it opens, we service it. And right now, we're hiring. If you're an experienced overhead or pedestrian door technician and you're ready to work hard with a Canadian family-run company based in Calgary that offers great wages, benefits, and respect, we would love to meet you. Let's open doors together. Apply now at allkinddoorservices.com. All Kinds Doors.
Whoa, who turned off all the lights? Experience the new charcoal menu at Booster Juice.
Charcoal menu?
Introducing the Eclipse Smoothie, Blackout Booster Mixer, and Midnight Booster Ball.
Where's that voice coming from?
Dark and delicious, made with activated charcoal.
Can we please turn the lights back on?
Sorry, I'm just excited about the new charcoal menu.
Wow, that is good.
Right? Available now, only at Booster Juice.
We played our game, and our game is as good as anybody in baseball. So is it two heavyweights going back and forth? Going back to the beginning of the series when people were calling it David versus Goliath, it's not even close. They're good. I put this group of guys against any other 26 players in the entire planet. We had our chances. We had our chances to beat them soundly, and we didn't, and that's baseball.
Yeah, that is John Schneider, the manager of the Toronto Blue Jays. Kevin, we were talking off air, and we mentioned Yoshinobu Yamamoto was named World Series MVP. And I said to you, I got to tell you the truth, I can't remember the last time a World Series MVP was more deserved, because he was the difference. He was the only part of the game the Dodgers were better than the Blue Jays in.
Yeah, he shouldn't even have mattered tonight. I think that's John's point, is they had opportunity after opportunity. I mentioned it, 32 at-bats with runners on base. That's a lot.
To only score 4 runs, that's a lot.
That is a lot. They're averaging on the season about 15 and a half. They doubled that.
Yeah.
and still didn't win. Like, it's just, again, I don't even know if you tip your hat to the Dodgers or not. I think it was sometimes is a lot of the luck with the wrong guy up at the wrong time kind of thing going.
Credit Dave Roberts for moving Will Smith up to the number 2 spot.
Absolutely, but you don't be afraid to make him go the other way every once in a while.
Correct.
I mean, that's another thing too, right? It's just throwing old floppy breaking balls in there. We were watching at least I was on my phone, the little get me over not wanting to walk the 9-hole hitter because of who's standing on the on-deck circle slider. Those are the kind of things that you can catch out front, get big extension on, and get it in the air. And yeah, it's just a shame. Like that again, I feel bad for all the coaches. I'm really close to them. I've known John forever. I've known Budzinski forever. I've known Pete Walker more than forever. I just got to know Donnie Baseball. Like, these Carlos Fabulous, I've been talking to him for quite some time. Like, all of these coaches have worked their tails off. Like, just it's rough. Like, it's you can hear it in his voice. I know he feels bad for his coaches and for his players. So
Claudio in King City on the text line. Tough loss. Congrats to the Blue Jays for a fabulous season with some good off-season acquisitions. We can try and get back to the World Series. As for tonight, plenty of chances to win. Couldn't get it done. It will sting all winter, but that's baseball. Gordon in Vancouver, BC. Tough loss, silver lining. A lot of new baseball fans made across Canada. My 4-year-old daughter, who loves George Springer, was promising to make me a card about the Blue Jays to make me feel better tomorrow.
Nice.
I'll take it. Thank you for the great coverage all year and can't wait for next year. We made it so far. Let's go Blue Jays. Andrew from Kitchener, hell of a year. We took down the evil empire down to their last breath. Varsho, though, my God, what are you swinging at? Thank you, Jeff, Kevin, and Show. You've made this season amazing with all the highs and lows. I can't believe it's over. 100 days till pitchers and catchers report.
Yeah, Dalton went through it. Like,
he did.
Give that whole pitching staff for the Dodgers credit. Like, they saw he was going through it. And boy, it's just like you go through it, and you just keep getting them and getting them and getting them and getting them, and there's really nothing you can do about it, right? So, yeah, give John credit. John wasn't going to take him out of the lineup, but he tried to move him around to sort of hide him, right? The further down in the lineup, maybe you're sort of getting those big at-bats for Barger instead of getting them for Dalton.
Yeah.
The baseball gods were paying attention and said, how dare you do that to us? We're going to still run him up there. And
yeah, we got to mention.
It's not lack of effort.
No, Addison Barger tonight, 2 hits, 2 walks. Boy, that ninth inning, that play by Miguel Rojas, we haven't talked about that yet. IKF's at third base. He was in the game as a pinch runner for Bo. Miguel Rojas stumbles. He's basically going backwards and still gets the throw at the plate. The replay was, I'll tell you this, June 29th, that run
saved.
Counts. I don't think you're going to see that overturned in the World Series. Depending on how forensic you want to get about it, it looked like Will Smith lifted his foot off home plate. Mm-hmm. But, Kevin, you shouldn't rely on that to win a game. You had with all the men in base.
It was the Dalton at bat, right? It was the split finger, right? I don't know what kind of adjustments he'd made trying to hit that thing. I talked to John before the game, and I said, "What are you seeing with Dalton?" And he's like, "Yeah, he's just having a real tough time picking it up out of the hand." And where they're starting it and where it was ending up, he's just sort of. They started it in the happy zone. That's why he was getting a bunch of sort of positive moves towards the baseball is because of that reason, and it was rare. He got some hangers, but because they sort of established in that happy zone, you get them opening up that front side.
And we've also got to say this too. The game was close, but my goodness, that Max Scherzer, there was a lot of wobbling there, man. There was some. Kike Hernandez hit that one ball, and he looked back at the scoreboard like, man, that one should have been in the seats.
Yeah, the Freeman fly out, the Edmund fly out, the Ohtani line out, the Smith double, the Rojas single. Whatever Max was, whoever he was praying to, boy, it worked. So, yeah, look, it was, again, I hate to keep saying this, but, boy, they had him, Jeff. Like, it's just.
Yep.
Just one more hit with the runner in scoring position, and they're hoisting that trophy.
Casey in Oklahoma. You're on Blue Jays.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I just want to say how devastated I felt when Rojas hit the home run in the ninth. Like, we were that close. And I've been waiting my whole life. I've been a Jays fan. I'm from America. I'm a big Toronto sports fan. That was so devastating.
Yeah.
Can't disagree.
Can't disagree. No.
The only reason he gets that pitch is because of who's standing on the on-deck
That's
circle.
absolutely right. You know, it's classic.
He's massaging that. He's aiming that. He wants to make sure it's in the zone. He wants a 9-hole hitter who hadn't hit a home run since September 19th. Excuse me, September 19th. He hasn't hit a home run. So, yeah, every once in a while, I think sometimes, Jeff, it's just not meant to be.
Ernie Clement, we talked about this. Ernie Clement set a record for hits in the postseason, beating Randy Arozarena's record. Ernie Clement spoke to the media following this loss.
I don't really care about it. I can't. I just love every single guy in here so much. The only thing I can think of right now is spending this last night with all the boys, and I'm just going to miss them in the offseason. I couldn't wait to come to the field every day and just hang with everybody. And I've been crying for probably an hour, so I thought I was done with the tears. But I just love these guys so much. It was so much fun coming to work every day and battling with these guys. And we have so much to be proud of, even though it didn't go our way. All I care about is just hanging with these guys for, another couple hours.
That is Ernie Clement. You can tell, very emotional. Ernie Clement, he played his ass off all year for this team.
Huge part of your organization going forward, too.
Yes. He has to be. There's a lot of contractual things that need to get done this year. And, I'm sure the analytics guys will do a deep dive into everybody. But, boy, you got Ernie. Ernie has to be a starter for me next year. I don't know what position, maybe second base, maybe third base, but to me, Ernie's got to be a starter. I think he's earned it. Again, there are things that you can carry forward from here. There's always the big concern when a guy has a season not as late in his career, but at Ernie's age, is it a one-off? Nothing about Ernie Clement suggests to me it's a one-off. So, and you could tell the amount of time we spent around this team, not as much as some people because of our schedule, because of our work, but you talk to guys every now and then, and you can tell how important Ernie is, and you can tell how much he does wear his emotions on his sleeve. He's I can't say enough about him, man. A lot of those guys, Andres Jimenez, they did all they could do.
Yeah.
They did all they could do, but at the end of the day,
couple of bad sliders.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly where we are. And I'm sure when the Jays sit down and look at what they need to do in the offseason, I'm sure the bullpen will once again be a focal point for this team.
I would think you'd want some more hard throwers.
You've got Kevin.
You need power.
We talk about the Dodgers. The Dodgers have dudes they don't use that throw 101.
Yeah.
You have to get. You do have to start getting some power.
That pitchability thing will only get you so far. Every once in a while, you just got to say mano a mano. Here it is.
You can't hit it.
Why do you think they pitch Louis so much?
Yeah.
Because he throws hard.
Yeah.
That's why.
Very true. Matt in Toronto, you're on Blue Jays Talk. Hey, Matt, what's up, man?
Hey, tough night.
Yes.
But Jeff and Kev, I'd like to thank you both for all the time and effort managing traffic. Amazing commercial reads throughout the season. Let's be honest. My wife and I listen to you guys every day, and this run has been so much fun. I'd go so far as to actually say joyful. I had friends come from all over, people who are living in different countries come for the playoffs. Hazel and the entire Sportsnet team have been so amazing all season. I would go so far as to say we've been spoiled. But, no one could have imagined we'd ever get this far. And as a fan, it's hard to realize when this sucks. It sucks. But, we have to appreciate, what a special team we have and, what it is to be a playoff team. And in baseball, it's just so difficult.
Yep.
But, the big thing for me is, I always hate leaving it up to the officials to make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And, for me, both Game 6 and Game 7, and throughout, there's some, a little bit here and there. But, is it just me, or was there, the 50-50 calls never really seemed to go our way? And don't get me wrong, if we would have put up a lot more runs, because, at the start of this series, especially Game 6 and 7, I said we needed to put up more runs to keep the officials out of it. But it just felt like when it came down to it, the millimeter here or the millimeter there, it just went a different way of the blue. Not the Blue Jays.
I thought the umpiring was not good in this World Series. This is the last World Series where we won't have ABS, by the way. There will be the ABS challenge system in next year. The umpiring was not good in this World Series. The home plate umpires weren't good, with the exception maybe of Alan Porter, who was good, and he's had a good postseason in general. But I didn't think Jordan Baker was very good tonight for either side. And, yeah, the Jays lost, and I'm sure if the Dodgers had lost, their fans would be, picking apart each pitch. But I can't disagree with you, and I don't normally hammer umpires. And at the end of the day, you did have all those opportunities.
Yeah.
But the umpiring was not, the balls and strikes were not good in this World Series. They just weren't. I'm not for one team or the other. There was just a real lack of consistency.
Yeah, the umpire didn't throw the two bad sliders.
No.
They didn't go 3 for 17 with runners in scoring position. Again, I'm the first guy. You know me, Jeff. I'd be glad to moonwalk all over a bad umpire, but not tonight.
Frank in Ottawa, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good, thanks.
It'd be better if...
Yeah, I feel the same way. I just wanted to say thank you all for, your wonderful coverage this year. I really do feel... never met you guys, but I think of you as family in a weird way. It's, I always felt that. I always felt like, back in the day with Jerry Howarth, I always felt like he was an uncle who I never met. Just his familiar voice has kept me company on many long late night drives and stuff. But I just want to say, from the start of the series, I believed in this team, but I always felt, this was found money I didn't expect to get here. So that ALCS pennant is going to fly just as beautifully along the other ones, over the Jumbotron. But one question I do have for you guys, and I say this maybe a little bit tongue in cheek, but does it ever occur to you that maybe this team's cursed? Because, we had this whole series, we had the ball under the wall like last night. We had, so many close, plays tonight. And I just sometimes wonder if we're cursed. And I've thought of it for a few years, and I'm say this a bit tongue in cheek, and I'm not super serious, but, Red Sox had the curse of the Bambino, and maybe we actually need a curse to kind of rally us and fight. And the one person I've always thought of as maybe he did it on purpose, maybe he did it by accident, maybe it's not real, is Jack Morris. And I know that he threw out the ceremonial first pitch. We declined his option in 1994. We had 20 years of mediocrity. We made all those great trades in 2013, and then he came back, as the broadcaster, for 590 in 2013, and the team fell apart. And then those disastrous playoff runs in we had the great ALDS series in 2015 and 2016, but we did not really come through in the ALCSs those years, and Jack was always covering the games for Fox. And then tonight, he throws out the first pitch, and we're within 2 outs, and then it all falls apart. And I just wonder if there's a curse going on there, and maybe we should all think about it. Obviously, I say that as somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but it also kind of, I've been thinking about this for years for some reason. So do you think we're cursed, or is maybe just throwing those sliders our own fault?
Yeah, no, I don't believe in curses. I think the only curse the Blue Jays have is they play in the American League East, to be honest. And maybe that'll be taken care of with realignment. I mean, if you want to be cursed, call up your neighborhood Seattle Mariners fan, ask them how they're feeling, whether or not teams are cursed.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you made it to Game 7 of the World Series.
You're a pitch away.
Yeah, you were.
You're a pitch away.
You're a pitch away. And
one pitch.
One pitch.
I mean,
one pitch.
They are running to jump up and down with each other on an Ohtani fly ball. Think about that. Yep. If they get the 9-hole hitter out and Ohtani hits that little lazy fly ball to left field, everybody's running to the middle of the field, jumping up and down together.
Yeah.
That's how it ended.
Yeah. That is fine margins with this team, and that was very much the case. I just looking at my scorecard, and God, it's a messy one. But Kev, there there were a lot of opportunities in this game. You know, the second inning, good grief, the sixth inning, and then obviously the ninth inning with the hit by pitch and walk and bases loaded, and here comes Yamamoto.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I thought Trey did a good job coming out of the pen. I thought Chris battled.
This was the least effective Chris Bassett we've seen in the postseason.
Well, you know, this is sort of the year of Chris, right? You know, if he doesn't have the extra gear, how's he get you out with 2 strikes? That's sort of, when he's going through it, that's kind of how he goes through it. He went through it tonight, and you know, you could argue, do you bring Trey out for the next inning after when he gave up the Muncie home run? Who do you pitch? When do you pitch him? It's that kind of thing. But, man alive, I get back to that. They were 1 pitch away.
Yeah. Max Scherzer spoke to the media a few minutes ago talking about the fans, talking about his experience in Toronto, and whether or not he plans on pitching again.
We love playing for you. The passion they brought us, selling out this Rogers Center, man, that was unbelievable. And the atmospheres here in the playoffs were unbelievable. Something I'll never forget. Playing in front of this atmosphere, and this was special, and with this group. So they were riding, dying with us. This one just stinks.
You gonna keep going, Max?
No. Or what are you talking about?
Are you gonna keep going? Like, you want to keep playing?
I think I'll give a full answer on that later, but I will say this: I just don't see how that's the last pitch I've ever thrown.
Well, there you go, Max Scherzer. Gonna think about it, but
I'm pitching again.
You'll love watching him walk off the field and tapping his heart, and you know. He didn't lose the game tonight because of Max Scherzer.
I mean, he did. He was good enough. He's living right though. Let's be real.
Yeah, no,
he's living right. Yeah. Whatever he's drinking or eating, boy, because a couple of them pitches that he was throwing. You know, but again, it's baseball. That kind of part of it is baseball. It's like the 2 bad sliders. It's baseball right in some of the biggest moments.
And doesn't that just kind of reinforce, too, how close this, the opportunities the Jays had and just the separation in terms of lineups, because the Dodgers couldn't get to Max Scherzer.
No.
And Max Scherzer was gettable tonight. And no disrespect to Max, I'm saying that more, directed towards the Dodgers and their lineup.
I'm sure he would agree.
That's Mookie Betts, I think. Does that Mookie Betts do an interview with the MLB Network guys? Mookie Betts making that double play at the end of the game.
Might have got one of the biggest hits for the Dodgers in the series.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think
the 2 strikes, 2 RBI single. I mean, for me, that's really bad sequencing. Like, it's just
they won game really 6. They don't win game 6 without that. And if they don't win game 6, we're not back here tonight. No, question.
You got the lead for that dude.
Yep.
Yep. That dude that nobody can hit. And it's sort of baseball, right? Is when you're predictable and you doing it to a guy, even though he's struggling, who's really good at baseball. He makes you pay for it, and that's kind of what it. Again, it just sort of gets down to those really fine margins, right? Where if I'm aiming a slider because I don't want to walk a guy because of the on deck circle guy, sometimes I get punished for it, and it's just disappointing. Have I said that already? I've said that a couple of times. It's really disappointing. Again, you know me, I talk a lot with the coaches and some of the players, and for it to end the way it's ended this year, I'm feeling for them. Like I will say it. They deserve better, I think, tonight, just because of the way they played up until this point, the way they had it in their grasp. Just a couple bad pitches.
Yeah, this is one of those things where I think when they look back on it, sometimes you look back on something as a player or as a fan or whatever, you look back on it and you go, yeah, that was pretty special, and there will be people feel that way. But I bet there are a lot of players that'll look back on this thing and
be angry a little. They'd be angry. Yeah, they had it right there. Like
it was there for us.
I wonder what Jeff Hoffman's thinking. That's who I wonder.
Well, speaking of Jeff Hoffman, let's hear from Jeff Hoffman on the home run he gave up to Miguel Rojas.
Just sucks. Supposed to end differently. Just one pitch and yeah.
What are you feeling? Can you try to verbalize what it is that's actually happening for you? I mean, we're all preparing for the celebrations.
I cost everybody in here a World Series ring, so feels pretty shitty. gotta execute better in that spot, and not let that happen.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty.
I mean, he's not the only reason why they lost, but I mean, you got to give him credit for saying what he just said, and he's going through it.
But we've seen that all year from him, even when he's given it up. He's always been.
Owns it. He owns it.
He owns it.
He does. He's a good person. He works hard. He tries hard. He's a trier. He wants to do well for his teammates.
He just may not be. He may not be the guy you go wire to wire with as a closer.
I mean, I might be yeah. I mean, they got decisions to make, right? I mean, they again, with what they've had to work with, they've got everything and then some out of it.
Yep.
I think you got to give credit where credit's due. Again, it was just it was you peeking over there knowing that guy's on the on-deck circle and you just don't want to walk him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it, right? Even if he thinks of throwing something else that he don't have to aim, trying to throw a strike, I'm sure he'll be having nightmares about that pitch. He went through that in his mind. If it were me, I'd never get over it, ever. Hopefully he does and comes back next year is better. I don't know how he could get over this, though. It'd be tough.
Yeah.
It'd be hard, Jeff.
Do you think Jays fans will forgive him?
They should. I think they should. Again, he's not the only reason why they lost.
Nope,
They were 3 for 17, 32 at bats. Kirky hit into the game-ending double play. Like, they had their opportunities. They had their guys up, right? It was those at bats that against the dude that nobody can hit or nobody could figure out that sort of was their downfall. But it probably should have never got to Yamamoto. Let's be real. Like, that's the thing,
Fair
right?
point. Fair point.
If I get back to that, you don't have to go get 10 more hits in those 17 at bats with runners in scoring, but it's just one or two more. That's it, right? One or two more. And it's like the Dalton Varsho at bat with the bases loaded, right? He's been out and around and fanny out for a while. Like, it's just in the inability to make that adjustment. It's just been real tough for him. And who are we to say, he should have done it with that Yamamoto dude on the mound? And, again, it is very hard to give the other side credit, but for that and just those sort of at-bats that they needed to be really good at, they made a pitch on the other side when they needed to make it. They got the outs when they needed to get them. They won the World Series. That's all I think you can say.
Yeah. We are going to step away and take care of some business, and then we'll come back on the other side. We'll take it right up to 2 o'clock Eastern as we poke through the embers of the 2025 season and Game 7 of the 2025 World Series. The Los Angeles Dodgers are the 2025 World Champions. They've beaten the Toronto Blue Jays 5-4 in 11 innings at the Rogers Center. And this is Blue Jays Talk on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
All Kinds Doors.
At All Kind Door Services, from commercial overhead doors to pedestrian entry systems, if it opens, we service it. And right now, we're hiring. If you're an experienced overhead or pedestrian door technician and you're ready to work hard with a Canadian family-run company based in Calgary that offers great wages, benefits, and respect, we would love to meet you. Let's open doors together. Apply now at allkinddoorservices.com.
All Kinds Doors.
Whoa, who turned off all the lights? Experience the new charcoal menu at Booster Juice.
Charcoal menu?
Introducing the Eclipse Smoothie, Blackout Booster Mixer, and Midnight Booster Ball.
Where's that voice coming from?
Dark and delicious, made with activated charcoal.
Can we please turn the lights back on?
Sorry, I'm just excited about the new charcoal menu.
Wow, that is good.
Right? Available now, only at Booster Juice.
All right, welcome back to the Rogers Center. The Toronto Blue Jays, 5-4 losers to the LA Dodgers. The Dodgers are the 2025 World Series champions. Got their families and their kids out in the field here at the Rogers Center. Getting a little old watching other teams celebrate here. Although, well, we did have the American League Championship Series here, so
yeah.
It's not like it was. It's not like it was entirely. Bereft of accomplishments, and as you know, as we've had a couple of callers say as well, I think this team has reignited some interest in the fan base. The guys who are in 2015, 2016 did. I mean, they electrified this city. They, breathed life again into the franchise. And then we've had, 8 or 9 years. I mean, it's not like nothing's happened in that time.
Yeah.
But this team was likable, and a lot of people wanted to see this team win. A lot of people around baseball wanted to see this team win.
Hopefully, this makes winning a habit here going forward.
Yeah,
that's what the hope is.
Well, and you got your guy came through, man.
Absolutely.
Vladdy.
Oh man,
Vladdy delivered. We
will
not be talking too much about Vladdy and what he needs to do anymore. Kevin Pillar, who of course is very much part of those teams, was a welcome part of our Blue Jays coverage on Sportsnet. And Kevin Pillar joins us in our Rogers Center press box. We'll get back to the phone lines in a few minutes. But Kevin, I mean, look, you played a long time. What do you think is going through? We heard from Ernie Clement. We heard from Jeff Hoffman, who, just basically came out and said, I cost the guys in here a World Series ring. How do guys rebound from that?
It takes time. I hate that he says that. You feel that way in the moment, but the strength of this team has been the numbers. Obviously you could point to a lot of things that happen in the game. Obviously, when your guy gives up a home run 2 outs away, you have a right to feel that way. But the team did a great job kind of picking them up, being able to get back in the game. But there's no simple solution to this. This is going to hurt for a while. You want to talk about a lot of the positive things. There's going to be a time and place for that. I love what you said. I think the foundation has been set for this organization.
Mm-hmm.
The winning culture has been formed.
Yeah.
To your point, too, that it's not like nothing has happened between 2016 and now. They've had some playoff bursts. They haven't been able to win some games. But I think the foundation's set there. They have the face of their franchise who showed up in a massive way. But it hurts. I mean, I'm emotional thinking about it, too, because you just think about – you obviously feel for the players and the staff and the front office, but there's just so many people behind the scenes. When you've been around the organization, it means so much to so many people. And it's not like every year you get a chance to win a World Series. And when you're 2 outs away, it hurts. In some ways, you almost wish that they would have scored 6 runs in the first inning and you're kind of counting outs. It feels inevitable, but it feels like your heart's ripped out. And there's really no coming back from that in a short amount of time.
Okay, let's talk about the other side. You faced a lot of good pitchers. You faced a lot of good pitchers this time of the year. Maybe not in November, but October. You ever seen anything like Yamamoto?
No, and, I know my affiliations with the Blue Jays, but Yamamoto's become my favorite player in baseball. What he did was absolutely incredible, remarkable.
There's nobody else that would do that, is there, Kevin?
There's not a lot of guys in today's game. And, I kept saying, too, this guy's secured $350 million. It's very easy for him to be like, my job's done.
Yeah.
I gave you 2 complete games in the playoffs. I gave you 6 shutout innings or 1 run. To come back on 93 pitches, to go down in the bullpen in that extra inning game and being like, I'll take the ball whenever you want. Mm-hmm. And there was no sign of slowing down. Like, I think if the Blue Jays are able to score, maybe they go to the bullpen there, but
that was for show.
It wasn't going to be his choice.
No.
I think that guy was ready to go out there and throw another 100 pitches.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's incredible. I mean, it's a testament to obviously the way he takes care of his body, the way he prepares, but more than all of that, you have to have the willingness to do it. And there's a lot of people in this game that would feel satisfied to what he had done at that point, to not want to have to go out there and take the ball because he already did his job. He didn't need to be the guy to go out there and potentially be the last guy on the mound who gives up a game-winning hit. The willingness for him to do literally whatever that team wanted him to do to win games was beyond impressive. A well-deserved MVP, and hopefully it's, inspiration for a lot of pitchers moving forward when you get this time of the year to do whatever it takes to win.
You had a front row seat down the left field line or right beside third base with Dalton Varsho's at bats. What did you see? Like, what was he going through, you think?
I think just over the course of time in a series, it's really hard to hide your weaknesses, and I think they just found what he just wasn't good at this time of year, and they just exposed it, and they just kept going to it, and it's really, really, really hard to make adjustments when you're playing games every single day. There's only so much you could do. I mean, he was so great. He had this unbelievable ability all year to get the ball in the air, and there was just 2 times today where you just felt, you guys probably sitting here feeling the same thing I was saying. That's the right guy for the right spot, because all you need is a fly ball.
Yeah.
And I always like to be very positive with a lot of things too. You have to think about, it's easy to talk about some of the at-bats he didn't have come through tonight, but he made a play in center field tonight that,
saved their bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have time to kind of go back and reflect on the way the game was going, like that was a very pivotal moment in that game.
Yeah.
That ball drops, or it gets by him,
Sure.
that game's tied. But I think a lot of players are it's gonna hurt for a while, but there's gonna be a lot of things these guys are gonna learn about themselves, and I know I felt this way, and I never got to this point, being 2 outs away from winning a World Series, but all that pain that you feel from this loss was so motivating for a lot of guys, and you hopefully you get some time to go home, get away from the game a little bit, and when it's time to start working out and hitting again, you dig deep and you remember that pain of what it feels like, and you turn that into motivation.
Stinks. We take a call. Let them talk to Kevin.
Yeah, we're going to do that right now if you're okay. Can we do that? Okay, Stacy in Ottawa, you're on Blue Jays Talk. You've got Jeff Blair, Kevin Barker, and Kevin Pillar here as well.
Hey, guys. Long-time listener, first-time caller, but it's been a great season. First off, massive congrats to the entire Sportsnet team. Both Kevins, Barker, you guys have all done amazing. Big shout-out to Mike Christensen and the crew over in Rogers Center doing all the video board work. They've killed it in the arena. I've got one I guess comment and one question for you guys. First off, to some of the points about how the team's going to feel, just playing sports generally, I think when you get a special team like the Jays seem to have had this year, where everyone's playing together and working so hard for the guy next to them, it looks like one of those things where, hopefully they can all rally together. But I really hope that they all remember too. It's they got there as a team, they played better than the sum of their parts, working together, and it's not on one guy. It's one of those things that it takes a team to get that far, and unfortunately, I think the team couldn't show up all the way, but I don't think any individual should really take that home and take that to heart. So hopefully they start looking at it that way in the next few days. But question for you guys, the bench clear earlier in the game, I remember watching that before everything else happened, and was wondering what it was that really set everybody off, because it felt like, aside from getting hit obviously and a couple high throws, it seemed to escalate pretty quickly. So I was curious what your guys' take was on that.
I will pass that over to Mr. Pillar.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a series of events, but in the moment, it was a couple pitches consistently kind of up and in at Jimenez, and that bat ultimately hit him. But I don't know what the statistics are, but I know it was favored one way to the other, hit by pitches. I think the Dodgers had a very definitive plan against some guys wanting to really make them uncomfortable on the inside part of the plate. I know George was dodging a lot of pitches up and down, and I know multiple players got hit throughout the series. And at some point, when someone is consistently thrown up and in and eventually hits you, emotions are going to take over. And, it's part of the game. Players have a right to respond how they feel in that moment. No one wants to get hit. Obviously, there's probably no intent in that moment because base runners are so valuable there. But if I'm Jimenez and I'm seeing 2 up and in, and I eventually get hit, I'm looking at the pitcher and asking him what's up too. So, luckily nothing came of it, but I mean, it makes for great theater. It makes for great entertainment. I think it just shows the passion on both sides of the field. And,
Have you ever been a part of one of those in the playoffs? And if you have, is it different than one in the regular season?
I can only imagine. I was never in one. I mean, we were in them a lot with the Yankees coming down the stretch, which kind of felt like playoff games. But I think people forget too that you play 7 games in a series. Like, you're around the same people all the time. You're competing. Like, emotions are so high. Yeah, you get tired of seeing them, right?
Do, yeah.
And at some point, enough is enough. And Jimenez did what he felt like he needed to do in that moment. The pitcher, has a right to defend himself, and then the teams come out of the dugout, and it just kind of shows how emotions were so high here. And does it play a factor in the game? Probably not, because, it's not like, that motivated one team versus the other. I think we're just equally motivated. I think they're tired of seeing each other.
Yeah.
We do, as you know, when you play at this level too, there are certain players on the team you don't like. Most of the guys you respect. It is a fraternity at the end of the day. It's a brotherhood, but between the lines, there's no friends. You can be friendly, and when stuff like that happens, you do what you feel in the moment. And did it play a factor in the game? No. It's definitely a storyline that is very forgotten until you brought it up. I think me and Hazel were talking about in the dugout, like, that happened today.
Yeah, it seems like
that's funny.
No, it really did seem like that. Andrew in Dubai, you're on Blue Jays Talk. What time is it there?
Hey, let me check my watch. It's 9:45 in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Thanks for calling.
Thanks for calling.
I have to give a shout out to you guys right away. For us people that live overseas, it's just a game breaker. Myself, other friends that I have that live in different cities. I'm a huge Jays fan from Peterborough, Ontario originally. Turning 50 next year. So I've been there since we won the AL East. I've been through, 16, 17 in high school and won the World Series, but you guys do an amazing job of keeping us all connected. I got to give a shout out before I forget to my sister. She's back in Peterborough. We've been connecting big time over the course of the playoffs. Also with parents and stuff like that. Just love your guys' sense of humor. And, it's been great. I do have a question and a comment. Yeah. If you want me to get to that. I've listened to enough of these shows. I don't want to just keep blabbering on here. I said to your producer, and I was thinking of this. I didn't know. Watching the games with my kids now. I got a 17-year-old that was watching this. It was an amazing memory to watch with him. I got a 14-year-old. We were getting up at 4 in the morning to watch all these games, just like a lot of people around. Going into the World Series, I didn't want to think we were going to lose, but had to really remember, keep perspective. This is all gravy. It was just amazing. I said to the producer, it's like going 15 rounds with the champ. Rocky 1 type of stuff. And I can't wait for 4 or 5 more sequels. And I think there's a lot on the team that can do that. Also thinking about calling you guys from way over here, I thought I should go back and think about what you guys were talking about at the beginning of the season. So my question, I guess the quick one, and then if you let me finish my question, do you guys remember what we were talking about February 19th, about the Jays?
What I was talking about?
Yeah, what was the topic of conversation back then? Do you guys remember that far back? I couldn't remember.
I think probably the topic of the conversation would be, 1, are they going to sign Vladdy? And 2, how the hell are they not going to finish in last place? No, that's
fair.
That's pretty much it.
That's what you said. That's exactly word for word
I think that's probably about it.
Yeah. You're 100%, Blair. You're right on the money. It was the contract. I didn't remember that. And there was a press conference clip that you guys played with Shapiro talking about being focused on getting the deal done and then focused on winning a championship. And actually, Barker, you gave a bit of a giggle at the championship part of it, and it's just amazing how far they've come. Yeah. So my question for you guys, and again, thanks and shout out. I'm not going to be able to name other people I know. Shout out to everybody listening to that. But my question is, you guys get to talk to these guys up close and personal. April 9th, Vlad signed the contract. When you guys talked to him up close and personal, did you see a noticeable change in his leadership? Do you think that really made as big a deal as we thought it was? I mean, I surely thought late in the season here, he's just a different guy compared to the beginning. I wonder what your thoughts were on that.
Thanks. I'll pass that over to Kevin, because Kevin's talked to him certainly more than I have.
Yeah, look, I think early on it sort of felt like he was forced into it because of how much money he signed for. And then as the season went on and they started to get better and better and better, and he started to feel a little bit more comfortable just sort of being, it's okay occasionally to, if you want to raise your voice and be heard, you can do that because of who you are and sort of how long you're going to be here. And yeah, I think he's sort of evolved into this Vladdy that we've seen tonight. I mentioned the double late in the game when just sort of the emotion he was showing at second base towards his dugout. Like that's, for me, that's leadership. Like that's, you got to earn that. And when sort of your buddies are acting that way, when you show that amount of emotion, just tells you, I think, everywhere all you need to know about Vladdy. And I said this, they got the right guy. Yep, they really do. Like, it's a lot of money, and we were, sort of occasionally saying, man, that is a lot of money. But when you see him play in big moments like this and the way he stepped up, man, it's hard to argue.
Phil in Toronto, you're on Blue Jays Talk. You're in traffic. What a shock.
Gentlemen, how you doing tonight?
Good. How are you? Where are you traffic-wise?
Oh, the traffic's actually not so bad. I'm at Lake Avenue in Eglinton. It's cleared up where I am.
Nice. Good.
Yeah,
What's up?
This was a tough one. I mean, I have so many emotions that, I'm happy that what a great season. Game 7 against the Dodgers, losing extra innings. We're also, 2 outs away from winning it. Then we're bases loaded, a wild pitch away from winning it. Guy makes an amazing catch in left field to save the game. Like, a lot of highs and lows. It's a great season. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where I'm at. There's a couple of things that I'm looking forward to next season that I think just have to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't want to say we're nothing without Bo, but Vlad, like you saw what happened when Bo goes out the last month of the season. Vladdy doesn't hit a home run for a month. They don't have to pitch to him. And whatever money this guy wants, I mean, I hope that this run has, helped make him want to stay in Toronto, because early in the season it was like an afterthought.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you guys think it takes? Do you think we've done enough so far? And like, we just got to give him all the money in the world that he wants, like whatever it takes, right?
Well, it's funny I mean, I will say this. I still think that, Bo, I think Bo will exercise free agency. I'm sure he'll take a look around. I mean,
Why wouldn't he?
He's entitled to do it.
Yeah.
But, why don't we hear from Bo? Let's see what Bo had to say about that, because I'm sure he was asked about it after the game.
Yeah, I'll remember this group forever. I think this group taught me what a team is. I think it's probably the most valuable lesson in my career. So they mean a ton to me.
I feel this is a special group. Is there incentive for you to try and make an effort to make sure you're back here next year?
Yeah, I already said it. I want to be here, but I just lost to Game 7, so you keep on asking me. But
There's Bo. Bo, get used to it. That's going to be the topic of conversation effective Monday.
Kevin, is it hard to answer questions like that about your future?
Yeah, I mean, they're ill-advised questions. I mean, there's a time and place for them. And obviously when Bo walks out this door, he's a free agent. So you're not going to get that opportunity unless he picks up the phone to answer him. But you got to have a little bit more feel with it. I know they're trying to do their job there. But to your guys' point, obviously emotions play a lot in free agency, but at the end of the day, money talks. Yep. There's an emotional connection to this city, what this fan base had meant to him. This is the place that drafted, developed him. He's playing aside his best friend. There's a lot of things that have to go into it. He's going to have to be willing to make a position change, potentially to play here.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's one of the more difficult things to do in sport is to reach free agency as a baseball player. The shelf life of baseball players is 3 years. It takes you 6 full years to get to free agency. And to be as young as he is and as good as he is, you can't blame him from going out there and testing the free agency, the market. Yeah, I mean, right now is probably a great time for him to feel all the emotions of the city and being 2 outs away from winning the World Series. At the end of the day, money talks.
Absolutely.
And, hopefully and I try to go down the list of teams that, he'd be a great fit on. Honestly, he'd be a great fit on this team that they just lost to, right?
Yeah, he would.
If
Yes,
he's
he
willing
would.
to play second base. So
Wow.
you earn the right as a player to go out there. And even if he ends up going somewhere else, that is not a slap in the face to the organization. Doesn't mean he doesn't care. It's just, it's so hard to do in a game. You earn the right to do it. And as a front office, emotions can't really dictate the way you feel about a certain player or, what they've meant to your organization. It's all about what they mean to you moving forward. If they feel like if Bo Bichette wants to be a shortstop and they don't feel like that's the best fit for their organization, doesn't want to play second base, it's kind of a non-negotiable. So I think he only really kind of increased his value today, his versatility. I think there's a lot of teams that are going to view him as a second baseman who has the ability to play short. And honestly, it might be the best thing for Bo's career because shortstop is a very, very physically and mentally demanding position. If he can go stand over there and play second base, I mean, sky's the limit for what he can do offensively.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you already have a ready-made replacement here defensively in Andres Jimenez if you want to make that move. So
I got to admit, he looked real good playing second. Picking and a grinning, boy.
For someone that hasn't played there and God knows how long.
Moving on,
just,
throwing on the run.
And without the ability to really be super versatile out there. He wasn't very mobile, but he was able to make some really tough plays. It's not the angle he's used to throwing from. When he had to turn double plays, he looked like a natural doing it. It could be kind of a blessing in disguise in his career because playing shortstop is there's very few out there that can really hit at that position and play good defense.
Yeah.
Most of the guys that kind of stick at shortstop really just pick it.
There you go.
So if he wants to hit, go play second base.
No question.
we got a couple more callers left before we scoot Nick in Vancouver Island, or on Vancouver Island, I guess to be exact. What's up, Nick?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
I just wanted to echo the previous caller's sentiments. You guys rock. It's been an awesome season. Listen to you guys almost daily. And, yeah, you guys add the best color to this team. It's been so much fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all Barker, by the way. It's all Barker. I just set him up.
Awesome. One comment just about Schneider watching John through the season and how he's managed this team. This has just been amazing. It's been so much fun to watch. I mean, trying to wrap it off, off the top of my head, it's challenging. But even just in the postseason, that bullpen game earlier in the postseason, just seeing the things that he's done and the choices he's made has been, impressive to say the least. And so I just wanted to tip the hat to him and get kind of your guys' thoughts on his year and his season. And one last piece, just listening to Kevin talk there, man, seeing Bo at second was so much fun for the armchair critic. That was so cool. So yeah, I'm gonna hang up and listen.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, you know John certainly better than I do, so I'm just going to say very quickly. To me, I think he has an option. They've probably already picked it up,
That's
but
fair.
he's got to get a long-term contract.
No
here.
question.
I think he's growing, man. And you know what, Hazel, you spend a lot of time when you go to the World Series. You can tell something about someone. You can tell something about someone by the way they handle themselves on that podium.
Yeah.
That podium is not the easiest place to be. And I've covered World Series where managers have not been at their best up there, shall we say. And I thought John really grew into the role. I thought he had a command of the clubhouse. And by and large, his moves worked.
Yeah, I think he's great in the playoffs, that's sort of the biggest time of the year. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, Game 3, we can go back and forth
I mean,
whether, and win, those kind of things. But I want to ask Kevin, this time of the year with a manager, like, how much does it really matter? Like, is it be-all, end-all? Is it more about the players, you think?
I mean, obviously, he's the one making the decisions, who's going to the bullpen, but having a good pulse of the room on understanding who guys are very opinionated in there too. Obviously, they don't have the final say, but you get a sense talking to your players who they feel comfortable coming in, who the right guys to pinch hit, pulling the right strings. But having a pulse on the room and you know, knowing when to speak, knowing when to get out of the way, knowing when to have players' backs, it means the world. You know, there's a lot of managers that, you know, you sit in the dugout with, and sometimes they just know the right thing to say at the right time. And from everything that I've gathered from my time being here, these guys would run through a wall for him. At the end of the day, that's all you can ask as a player is you want to go out there and fight for this guy. And, you know, we talk about this all the time too. It's easy in our position, sitting up here in a booth, away. The game feels very slow, especially from someone who just got out of the game and you get a chance to sit back. Those decisions happen real quick.
Yeah.
And sometimes all the decisions, and that's the hard thing as a manager. You make the right decision, no one says anything. You make the right decision and it doesn't work out, it's his fault. A lot of the times it's on the players.
Yeah.
You could put the right, and what he did tonight was exactly what he was supposed to do. He put all the pieces, and we sat here and maybe micromanaged. I thought he left Scherzer in there too long. I thought they should have taken him out, and it worked.
Yeah,
if it didn't work, we would be sitting here saying it was a terrible decision, right?
Yeah.
We were very hard and critical on him, rightfully so, about decisions that were made in the ALCS when they went to Brandon Little, and that was really uncomfortable for me to have to go on air and be like, I think you made the wrong decision.
Yeah.
You want best on best. And what you got tonight was best on best in every situation throughout the game. At some point, it's the player's responsibility to execute.
Yeah.
It's not on the manager. This was not his fault. What he did was incredible this year to get a group of guys that maybe no one outside of that room really believed in, to get them to believe that they were greater than themselves. And, you know, you talk to him all the time. His big message was just be you.
Yeah.
I'm going to find the right situation for you to be you and just be you. He never asked anyone to do anything above what they were supposed to do. He put the people in the right position to succeed. And he made some ballsy calls throughout the fact that
Trey Savage tonight.
Yeah, but I'm even bigger than that. The fact that he played Bo Bichette at a position he hadn't played in 10 years.
Yeah.
On a bum knee, who hadn't played in 7 weeks, and hitting in the 4-hole behind the best hitter in the planet. It's like it worked out.
Yeah, he got buy-in from a lot of guys like Chris Bassett and Max Scherzer too. You know, guys who were left off the roster originally. You got to be a bit of a politician. That's the thing. I think John can be a politician.
Yeah,
I mean that in a good way.
I asked him before the game, you know, sort of what's his role going to be today, and he said, "I'm going to do my best to stay out of it."
Let's go to Kelowna, Corey in Kelowna, BC. You're on Blue Jays Talk.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. That was certainly tough. Captivated definitely a lot of people out here on the West Coast. There had to be 5 or 6 TVs out in people's driveways last night playing the game while the kids were out trick-or-treating. My son, you know, he was really into it. 10 years old. He shed a few tears at the end of the game. That was tough to see. But like I say, he's captivated by it, so that's exciting. And I don't want to end on a too negative a note, but I feel like it was right there. Like they snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, guys. There was some of those odd running plays with the, you know, we think it's a ball. I'm not going to run. I am going to run. It was tough. It was right there in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and you know,
well said.
Both Kevins made that point, and I still maintain, you know, Kevin Pillar. I made the point a little earlier. I've seen a lot of dudes be named World Series MVP where you go, okay, you can make a case. He was the difference. Yamamoto was the difference in this World Series. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
There was no answer. You know, we had fun talking about him in Game 6 being kind of like the final boss in a video game. Like, in order to beat him, in order to beat the game, you got to beat this guy.
Yep.
And, you know, for the Dodgers, he was just unbeatable. They couldn't beat him in Game 2. They couldn't beat him in Game 6. He was willing to come out of the bullpen. And then it felt like the script was written. You know, he got a chance to come in the game, and it was like, okay, it's time to get redemption. It's time to beat the game. He just couldn't do it. And sometimes you're just going to run into an individual that was just on a heater. He was on a run.
Yep.
It was historic. It was legendary. People will talk about what Yamamoto did for years to come, you know, and, you know, you can't even go back and talk about it. I mean, the closest to it is what Madison Bumgarner did, but this guy did it twice.
Yeah.
This guy did it twice.
It's nuts.
No, it's remarkable. Let's one more call. Guy and Maple, take us home, my friend. How you doing?
Guys, like everyone else, first of all, I just want to say what everyone else is saying. You guys did a great job this year, and hopefully when you have your contract negotiations, maybe you'll get a bump in pay. And, you know, Canada still loves Pilar, by the way.
Nice.
I just want to say, you know, it sucks. The best team lost. the luckier team won. I felt we outplayed them in 6 of the 7 games, and we lost because of 2.5 players. I thought Will Smith and I don't even want to say Buddy's name. You know what I'm talking about. Killed us, and Rojas destroyed us the last 2 games. And I also thought, not because it made the entire series, but I thought the umpiring was a joke, except like you said, what's his name in Game 5, Foster or whatever his name is. I thought the umpire tonight, I thought it was kind of weird that MLB would have a guy at home plate who the Jays were trying to get fired a couple of that game against the Twins, I think, where he missed 17 calls in one game, and he's the home plate umpire. And I thought he squeezed us the last 3 innings. But all in all, I just had a couple questions, or one question. I was very surprised at the lack of work that they gave Lauer. I thought he was incredible in that 8th inning game. Never saw him again. I don't understand why they did to play him. And then the other thing was, you don't take out Bichette even though we're ahead and whatever, because we didn't learn our lesson. They should have kept Bichette in, I thought. And I just wanted to know your thoughts on those last 2 things. And guys, have a great evening. We love the Jays. We love you guys, and we'll be back, man. We'll be back.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Guy. I appreciate the call. I mean, I know why he took Bo out. It would have been nice to have Bo coming back up to the plate again, but yeah, I didn't.
First, trying to score a run.
Yeah.
He should have scored there on the single to the outfield when Ernie hit the ball to right center and didn't. Like you could tell, he was going through it, trying to get runs, trying to get add-on runs. I mean, I'd be the first one to stand in line and raise your hand, but in that situation, that part of the game, I just get back to that. They were 3 for 17. They had their closer in the game with the lead. They were one pitch away from, me and you yelling and screaming, taking our tarps off.
I was not going to take my tarp off.
Yeah.
I was in.
Pilar was in.
I was in.
See, Pilar was going to do it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, yeah.
Well,
that's not
tarp
fair.
Up, baby.
Let's see you guys when you're 65. Let's see how much tarp taking off you're doing when you're 65. Trust me.
You're taking
you know what I tell you? Stuff you want to get bigger gets smaller. Stuff you want to get smaller gets bigger. I mean, that's what happens when you hit 65. Listen, Kevin, thanks so much for dropping by and joining us today. I appreciate it. Loved having you as part of Sportsnet's team.
You kick butt, buddy.
Almost as much fun as I loved watching you play baseball.
Yeah.
Well, that means a lot. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Superman.
Yeah, indeed. Superman, indeed. And for, all of us here, we're going to wrap this up. Show Ali, who's...
He's the rock star.
He has been the rock star.
Absolutely.
Yeah, without him, this place falls apart.
It does.
And we really appreciate all of Show's help and admire, frankly, Show's work as well on the air. He does an awful lot of stuff, and it's always good. It's always well thought out. And Show, thanks for all your help today. Steve Coyle, Tom Young, dudes back in the office, back in the studio. I'm gonna forget, guys. The 2 Andrews, because I know we got 2 Andrews, Christian, Nick, anybody else who has had a hand in this. Oh, thank you. You've given me names. How sweet of you. Do I have to include these guys? They've already gotten enough love. Nah, never mind them. Nick Blackmore, Armin Zargarian, of course, Julia Kreutz and Blake Murphy, Christian Chinetti. I pronounce that right? Very good. Tom Young, Derek Brandeo, Andrew Hall, and Andrew Adams. See, I knew there were 2 Adams, or 2 Andrews. Stephen Coyle, I mentioned you twice. And
he's worth it.
Luke Swadron. Is that everybody? My bobblehead. Good stuff. All right, listen, that's it for Blue Jays Talk. Blair and Barker will be back on Monday. I have to read something to wrap this up, don't I? Yes, I do. Where is it? Show? Help me. Here we go. There you go. Thank you for listening to Blue Jays World Series Baseball. Canada's team is making history in your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Winnipeg, Calgary, Saskatoon, and all across Western Canada are proud to be a part of it. For over 40 years, Crown has protected vehicles from rust, keeping them strong and ready for the road, just like a great playoff baseball team. Crown Rust Control, proud sponsor of your Toronto Blue Jays radio broadcasts.
It's News Radio Business Banking 101 powered by Scotiabank. We're sitting down with Joshua Jabez, VP of Business Banking Distribution with Scotiabank. Joshua, how important is it to have qualified financial guidance from the inception phase all